In this lesson, I would like to talk about expressive playing and mature musicality. So let's first start with the biggest impediments to expressive playing and mature musicality. Number one is technical deficiency. It's very difficult to play with expression and to really seal the deal when you're struggling with bow speed, or when you're struggling with your tone production, or with your vibrato, or with all the hundreds of things we have to do as violinists. That stands in the way of our expressive playing. So we're working on that. We're working on learning our technique and getting our bow control under control and our vibrato so that it's automatic. We're working on it. It takes years. All right, so that's number one. Number two is ignorance. Ignorance of what a phrase is and of how to find where the phrase is. Ignorance about your choice when it comes to bow distribution or bow placement. A lot of people don't ask the right questions, so they never get the right answers. We're working on that as well. I'm trying to teach you how to shape a phrase, how to figure out where the phrase begins and ends, what to do with it, how to process your choices as far as bow distribution, as far as bow speed, as far as bow placement, and kind of developing an instinct for where in the bow you should play certain passages. We're working on that as well. That also takes years. And number three is stage fright or self-consciousness. The two kind of they're two different things, but they do fall under the same category because it all boils down to fear. Some things we need to do to conquer this impediment is we have to practice performing. Just like we have to practice the Martini Gavotte a zillion times before we finally get all the mistakes out of our system, you have to perform the Martini Gavotte a gazillion times before you really get control of, I tend to trip here, or oops, I lose my focus here, and it causes me to mess up. All right, so practice performing. That's something you can start doing right now. We must bury ourselves in the music until we forget about ourselves, until we forget about our fear, until we forget about our self-consciousness. If you are focusing on the music and you're in the moment, you truly, truly do forget about all those things. And once it happens for you, it is easier to happen again and again. It's just getting that first time to happen that's the trick. And that comes from focus, from having your focus be turned on so sharp that you're too busy thinking about all the things that you want to do and that you know how to do. You're too busy to worry about fear or self-consciousness. Finally, we must move and breathe and flow with the music. A lot of times fear constricts us. We stop breathing, we stand like statues, our knees are locked, we're rigid. That comes from fear. And there's some easy little things that you can start working on right now that's going to break that fear paralysis for you. All right, so like I said, number 1 and 2, we're addressing it. We're working on our technical difficulties. We're working on learning about phrasing and bow distribution. We're working on it. All right, so while we're spending years working on our technique and working out the deficiencies and figuring out what a phrase is and how to shape it and learning all about bow distribution, we can right now start working on number 3, which is fear, self-consciousness. You can do that by practicing performing, by learning to focus and burying yourself in the music. And number 3, I want to start teaching you to move and breathe and flow with the music. We're going to start with one simple thing, and that is shifting your weight from foot to foot while you play. It is so liberating and feels so good to just walk in place, basically. You can do this in rhythm to the music, or you can just do it in the back of your mind, completely unrelated to the rhythm. I think I do both. When I'm thinking about it, I shift my weight in rhythm. But when I'm not thinking about it and I'm busy thinking about other things, I'm all over the place, just kind of walking and shifting from foot to foot freely without worrying about the rhythm. Let's try this on Judas Maccabeus. And what I'd like to do, this will come later on in your review video, I'd like you to exploit your A-list songs by working on this little weight shifting skill on your easiest songs. And then if it's easy for you to do that, then go ahead and try to plug it into the martini. Try to plug it in to your harder songs as well. Okay? It's easy for a lot of people, about half of all people. It's easy for the other half. They have to think about it. If it's hard for you, then save it for the easy songs for now. Okay? Let's try Judas Maccabeus, and I just want you to think about walking in place. Okay, you're going to stay in one place, but your weight is going to shift from foot to foot as we play. You ready? Hope you remember Judas Maccabeus. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Shift your feet.